the Shen and Shan Show, where Shenice, my mom,
and Shan the Pan
interview with LGBTQ plus professionals and entrepreneurs.
So let's get giddy and start the show.
Alrighty, guys, welcome to the Shen and Shan Show. I'm Shan.
And I'm and I'm Shenice.
We always mess up on that sometimes.
Yes, I'm Shenice. This is Shan. And
Are you sure?
Positive this time. Positive this time. And we have a great guest today, Kaitlyn Becker. We are so honored that you would come on and talk with us today. Thank you so much. And a little bit of background on Kaitlyn is that Kaitlyn is of the LGBTQ plus community and is an actress, writer, musician, and she's been doing this forever. So Kaitlyn, please give us a little intro about you.
Okay, hi.
Hey.
Thanks for asking me to do this. Happy to be here. Yes, you are correct. I'm an actor, writer, musician. Most people know me from a kids show called Sunny Side Up that I did on the Sprout Network. And I did that for almost 4 years, 2 Emmy nominations for that show. Very proud. Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you so much. And now I do a lot of voiceover for a kids podcast and kids animation. And I have some other things that are bubbling that will be coming up next year that I can hopefully next year tell you about.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm married, been married for 9 years, and I have an almost 3-year-old son. He's going to be 3 on October 29th.
Oh, wow.
So really soon. Are you on the 29th?
Not of
No.
October, of March.
Okay. I still like you, but it's just not October, so it's different. But yeah, that's me, I guess.
Awesome. So where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in northern Kentucky, and I grew up in a small town, white suburbia, small school, white school. Went to a college, small college, white college. And I moved to New York in 2007.
What moved you there?
2 things, career and just straight up love for the city. I knew I wanted to perform. I really wanted to do musical theater. And so New York was the obvious choice. But the first time I went to New York was my senior year of high school. I went on a spring break trip. And I was like, this is going to seal the deal. Because what if I get there and I'm like, this place is terrible. But it was instant love. I'm like, I can't wait to move here. And I would go like Christmas break, spring break in college. I was just going to New York all the time.
Oh, wow.
And the love just grew and grew and grew that I graduated and was like, goodbye.
That's
so
awesome. I think a lot of people say that when they didn't grow up there, because I'm like the polar opposite.
You're like, get me out.
Yes, that was me. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is too much. You know, the snow, the thing about New York, because I lived in Connecticut too, and Connecticut's a little bit different. Well, not too much. I like it down here in the South, but it's like they still,
Texas, baby.
They still want you to show up to work, school, there could be 10 feet of snow on the ground and you're still expected to do everything that you're supposed to do and get there on time and get the city bus, which is like 2 hours behind the train. Mm-hmm. It's just crazy.
Not here in Texas, though. We get a little bit of ice. Just
one drop of a snowflake.
That's so funny. We never got snow days in Kentucky because
I was going to say New York.
No. Well, in New York as well. Because my wife is a teacher, and anytime there's the craziest snowstorm ever, the streets are piled up and we're like, come on, cancel school. And they'll be like an hour delay. And you're like, what? But in Kentucky, I remember just praying for snow days because our school, I lived out of district, but most of the in-district kids walked to school. So it wasn't a bus issue so the kids, most of them walked to school. So it was like, whatever, they can walk here so we can still have school. But it was so rare that happened.
I can probably count on one hand the amount of snow days there were in New York. It's just ridiculous.
It never happens.
Never happens. And then I
Yeah.
guess also typically when you're raised somewhere, I feel like you don't sightsee. So I've never been to Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty. I've never done any of the things that people know New York for, or really, unless I go back to like vacation, then I'll go to Brooklyn and see all the street art and, do all those fun things. And it's like when you live, go to school and work there, you don't necessarily dig into that unless you maybe like move there or you're visiting to actually sightsee. So maybe that's my
I've only been in New York once, and now it's last year.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with was it Manhattan?
Yeah, Times Square.
Times Square. Oh my God.
She loved all the flashy lights.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well, if you all come back, then you have to let me know. And then I can like show you secret gems. And I'm always like, no, don't spend that much money in a cocktail there. You should go over there.
You're my kind of girl.
I got you.
All the deals. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Yes. So you're in New York now. You're trying to find your way as an actor, musician, and writer at this point. Once you moved there, what happened?
I moved to New York. And what did I do? I moved with a babysitting job, actually, which was only like 2 days a week and hardly any money, but it was a little something.
Yeah.
So I moved there and I started auditioning immediately. And it's funny because I'm such a little, can I cuss on the show? I probably should. Yeah. Okay. I was just gonna say, I'm such a little shit because I moved to New York and my first audition ever, I booked. And it was an off-Broadway kids show. It was like a nice little contract. I was at this off-Broadway theater for a few months and then we toured for a little bit. And for that to be the first audition and the first thing I booked is just so like that never happens. Like
I was going to ask you, is that really, really rare? Like how competitive are
these? So many of my actor friends were like, how did you do it? Who do you know? And I was like, I just auditioned. I don't know. But and then I also got an ushering job at, it was the Hilton Theater at the time, for the musical Young Frankenstein. And so I would do the shows, it was for a kids audience. So the shows were in the morning and then I would usher at night at the theater. And so I was doing okay, like financially, I'm like paying my rent, I'm living my life, I'm meeting friends, I'm hanging out. I'm like, New York is easy. Oh my God, look at me. And then after the tour, I got another little gig at a theater in Maine, and I came back and I was just like, I'm nailing it. Like New York and I are great. Yeah. And then of course I didn't work for a year.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just like, you know what? I got a little too cocky. Okay, let me slow my roll. But I was like, wow, this is so easy. And my parents too were like, wow, this is great, because they were really nervous for me to move to the big city. And I think they too were like, wow, you're doing it.
You're doing way better than I thought you would.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I see. Now I'm feeling whatever
this is reality.
And auditioning every single day and not hearing anything, and still ushering and just doing all kinds of odd little jobs. I was just saying yes to everything. Like, sure, I'll do that this weekend. If you're gonna give me $100 cash, sure. Just like, I remember I carried opening night gift baskets around the city. Like I basically was their delivery person for some company. And so I was dropping them off at apartment buildings of like celebrities and Broadway stars. And I was just dropping it off. And then they gave me cash. Like that was like a one-day random job. I was like, I'll do anything.
It's like the gig, isn't there like a gig economy right now where
totally
you do little like freelancing work and do little odd jobs, or like, what is it, TaskRabbit, and there's a bunch of them, a bunch of different ones. It's just like, you can do those little gigs for quick little spurts of money, and at that point you're just like, anything and everything, give it to me.
Oh yeah, I just did the weirdest little gigs. If someone was like, cash, I'm like, yeah, sure. So I did that, and I did a ton of theater, and I got to a point in like 2012 2011, 2012, I was really burnt out, especially with the audition scene for theater, because it's so brutal. You have to get up so early. You're auditioning with 200 other girls that look like you and sound like you. And I felt like I was, like a part of a cattle or something. I mean, that's why they call them cattle calls, I guess. But I was just like, we're all looking the same. I'm like, we basically wearing the same dress, and I don't even like dresses that much. And I was just like, what? I'm feeling like so weird. Like I needed to like crawl out of my own skin. Yeah. So I did a lot of, I guess, self-reflection, and I decided to put musical theater on the back burner and focus on television because I'm really TV obsessed. And I was like, hold on now. Like, I love watching TV. Like, I spend a lot of hours watching television. So I took some acting for camera classes, and I started doing background work kind of as a free, not free, well, I guess free because they're paying you. But I looked at it as film school because I was on all these sets of television shows and movies, and I was just learning the language of TV, film. And
you're not just there like doing the job. You're actually watching, listening, learning, taking it in without having to go to school for it.
Exactly. I learned so much just watching. You know? The best was being a jury member for any of the shows like Law and Order SVU or Blue Bloods, like any of those like New York City like cop court shows, because you literally sit all day watching everything.
Yeah.
So I like loved it. I was like, I'm like a little film class just watching the director and the producer, and like, oh, that's the editor, and like, oh, that's the stand-in, and just I learned so much that way. And then I landed the Sunny Side Up job in 2013, and so that kind of told me,
propelled you forward. So I do want to go backwards a little bit. So what are some of those things that you had no idea were the reality until you got into acting, or any of those, that whole industry? What are some of the things that you didn't see until you got in there? So for example, if somebody is looking to become an actor or a musician, what would you tell them? Like, what are the things you would say, wait, hold on, you have a very wrong idea of what this is going to look like once you're in?
There's a lot. First of all, like you really have to know yourself and be yourself. I think the confusion with acting is it's acting. So I'm going to act like someone else. But it doesn't mean you need to act like someone else when you enter the building for an audition. The second I got that, and I was no longer wearing the same dress that every girl was wearing and the same heels and singing the same songs everyone was singing, and I was just like, screw it, I'm gonna wear something that makes me feel really good and really cute. So I switched to jeans and like this certain top and whatever. I remember the audition, like how different it felt, because I just went in with, I'm just gonna be myself, and it was one of my best auditions. So I was like, oh, I see why people say bring yourself to the table. They literally meant it. Oh, okay.
Because you really need to stand out, right? Everybody's looking the same, sounding the same. How do you stand out? Maybe a relationship, if you know someone. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of that could help you stand out. And then I think about like, that is across the board in every industry, because when I think about real estate, for example, and if you're not in real estate, well, even people who are not in real estate, they don't see this or know this, but there's this real estate agent, okay? And there's a bunch of them, right? But there's this real estate agent. His name is like Nathan Shonuff, okay? It's this white, yes. It's this white dude, okay? This white guy who, yes, he's white. He had to have grown up in the hood, okay? Yeah. I don't even know what state this is in, but he grew up in the hood, okay? When he is a real estate agent, like a legit real estate agent, doing the best for his clients, have his grills in. Yes, he has his like bathrobe, like
Gucci bathrobe.
Yes,
slippers.
Yes.
Wait, that's like his look on like ads and business cards and everything.
Yes.
Like that's
Him.
Well, on his Facebook page, he has on a suit and tie.
No, no.
He looks so uncomfortable the way
In
he's
the
like
suit and tie. Yeah.
so.
But his marketing is all about like grills, money. Actually, I think his check, every time he gets a commission check, he puts like his grills on top of them and takes a picture. Like he is.
Wow.
But he has a cause as well. He's always giving shoes to the community for kids that are less fortunate. I mean, he has a cause behind it.
Yeah.
Just what I learned from it for myself is because I always struggled. I was one of those people that I felt like I had to be like every other realtor. Like I have to have this suit on. I have to look nice. But he really
look a certain way, sound a certain way.
He really opened up my eyes to like just be yourself, and you're gonna stand out, and people are gonna work with you. So, but you have to check him out. He's on Facebook.
I will. That's so funny.
Love it. But it just goes to show, like you have to get out of your head sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And seeing him, if he's killing it.
Yeah.
Like he is killing it because why? He attracts the people he's supposed to attract. The people
exactly. If you didn't like it, that's not who he wants to work with anyway.
Exactly. So I can see what you're saying in the acting field is like you have to figure first. There's probably a journey of you learning yourself and then figuring out, okay, what's my little inch out at a time that I'm going to differentiate myself from everyone else? Because although I guess acting is not really looked at as maybe a business, it's more of a career, I guess, but you have to brand yourself, right?
Yeah, you're constantly selling yourself.
Yeah.
Marketing for yourself. And it's tricky because I've been in agent meetings where they straight up will ask you, who do people say you look like? Like they always want you to compare to celebrities. And so like I wish years ago I could have had the I don't know the word strength maybe to stand up to an agent and be like, why the hell does it matter? You know, but that was a common question. Who do people say you look like? Who do people say you sound like? And that's just like their go-to, looking at a headshot and saying, okay, I'm feeling a little Rosario Dawson vibes. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah. Like, I'm not Rosario Dawson.
Right.
We are like,
You're
so,
Caitlin.
yeah. So it really took a long time because, and in college, a lot of theater departments, especially conservatories, they really are grooming you to be a certain type of person to then go out and work in a professional setting. There's, maybe it's different now, but I was never taught or told, oh, here are the really special things about you. This is what's cool about you. So let's bring that forward. It was always like, you need to look like this. These are the songs that they like, this, you know, so it really kind of had to unlearn some things before I could audition and like book jobs. And
yeah, no, 100%. So last night I just happened to have started watching on, I think HBO Max, Coastal Elites. Have you ever heard of that? It's like a kind of a documentary. And you know the gay guy from Schitt's Creek, Dan?
Yes, love him.
Yes. So he's talking on this documentary, which is basically it's just a bunch of actors that they're like talking about their time in isolation, right? In this climate, this uncertain time where everybody's pretty much isolated. And they're also talking about their career, the political climate, everything like that. And Dan, he's talking about his like auditions. And he says that basically he went to, I believe, audition for a superhero role, right? And this superhero role was not, I don't think they were originally looking for a gay person to be cast for this superhero role. However, the community online is all saying, no, this has to be LGBTQ. Like someone from the community has to be cast in this role. And so I guess because of the outrage of that, you know, Dan is one of the candidates. And he talked about how he went into the audition, and when he went into the audition, you know, they're telling you to, this is what the name of his section of the movie is on HBO, or the documentary is. It's called Super Gay. Okay. Basically, the casting director or someone on the team who is, you know, in front of Dan is basically saying, okay, do it again. Now this time make it super gay.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it, but he felt so like awful, like, you know, like,
Yeah,
some of
like
the
doing this
stereotypical-
stereotype. Yeah.
Yes. And he just felt like so disgusting afterwards and just awful that this is the type of, I don't know, this is the type of world we live in
Not
where,
every gay person is flamboyant.
right. And
Uh-huh.
well, he seems very
Right,
flamboyant,
right.
but you know, there was also like this thing where they were saying, I guess in this movie, the superhero movie, the husband of the main character, they wanted the husband to kind of seem like, oh, he can go out and sleep around as much as he wants because that's part of that stereotypical like gay relationship, like as if everyone is like, you know, polygamy.
Yeah.
You know.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, it was just really interesting, and I was just like, is that real inside?
Yes. Because this happens. I've been posting a lot of videos on my Instagram because during the pandemic, as we all sit with our thoughts, I get fired up and angry, and then I turn them into these little like comedy videos.
Yeah.
That's just like
Which
how
are
I
super
survive.
funny, super cute. I love them.
Thank you. So I did one, the same story as Dan's, except for directors saying like, be more black, like
Mhm.
black it up, like really black. And then you have the people who are afraid to say black. So they're like, you know, like really sassy. Yeah. And I'm just like
more attitude. Like,
yeah, I'm like stop. Like and same as Dan. Like I have memories, especially when I was younger and first got to New York and was given that direction and doing it and going for it and feeling so phony and gross and was just like, and again, I wish I could have had the kind of like strength and not so much desperation for a job that I could have been like, no. Or if something offended me to be like, I'm offended, I'm done, you know, or whatever. But it's just so hard when you're in there and you're like, I want a job so bad.
right.
You know,
Of
now
course.
I don't
gotta
feel
pay
that
the
as
bills.
yeah.
Or like it's again, you're it's not like you're a W-2 job, you have a salary coming in, and you know, if you know stand up to your boss, then you can go to HR.
Right, right.
There's
just
none
you.
of that for you. It's just you.
It is literally you. So it's challenging, but
yeah.
I think once you you know, like I was saying before about figuring out, oh, I can just be myself and bring myself to the table. And if they don't want this, then it's not a right fit anyway. Like
Right.
I shouldn't have this job.
Yeah.
And when it does work out, it should feel really, really good, you know? So yeah, life's a journey, y'all.
So do you have, what's your schedule like when you have, you know, I don't know if I should say a job.
Yeah,
it's a gig or a job or
I say whatever.
Okay.
I say both. I don't know, depending on the day. Right now, I'm fortunate enough to do a lot of voiceover work from home. I actually have a booth right here to my right. That's messy. You do not want to see that. But we've worked it out where if I have to record during the day, because my wife is actually back in her school building teaching, then I take my son to the sitter to record whatever. Or it really depends. I can do it during his nap time. It's risky, but I've done it before. But it just kind of depends. Yeah. Also, I might go out of town next week for a job, and I would leave on Wednesday, and I might not know until Tuesday. Right. This business is so annoying. I still love it, but everything's so last minute. Yeah. It's like, hey, can you record this within the hour? And
oh wow,
and here's the script, and it's like, but my son, like I gotta figure it out. So
hours.
I'm just like, watch Trolls, and then I run in the room. No, I mean sometimes you do, but yeah, sometimes I do, but a lot of times it's like, can you do this right now? Yeah. Or can you send this end of day? Or can you fly here tomorrow for this screen test? And it's like,
wow.
Yeah. I want to see it. Yeah. So that too. And again, knowing when to say no. Like I'm like preaching that to people all the time because I have a lot of friends who say yes to everything in the industry because of the fear of not having work the next month.
Right.
And but that it's totally fine to say no to things. It doesn't mean your career's over, you know.
Right.
You gotta like take care of yourself. So
Definitely.
yeah. So I don't know. My schedule is literally
the place
every week. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Sundays are usually good. So I was like, okay, Sunday's great. Great. But usually I'm like, I don't know. I can't, it's like a week to week basis. So
Yeah. Okay. And then I guess from whenever you do have a job in the industry, do you ever encounter any challenges other than, you know, just going those blocks of time without one?
just challenges overall.
Yeah.
All
Like,
challenges.
what would be like your biggest challenge you would say that you've encountered over the years of doing this?
Biggest challenge.
And I don't know if it would be what you were saying before, like how you needed to differentiate yourself. Because I know I could imagine that was a big challenge, but
Yeah. The Sunny Side Up job. So that show is a live preschool television show. Every morning, there's 4 of us hosts, so we are on a rotation, and we would do 1 week at a time. So I would do like 1 week a month, and I was not playing a character. I was myself. I was Caitlin, a host on Sunny Side Up. So that was challenging for me because I'd never been myself. I was always playing a character. And so it took a long time for me to figure out how to be myself on camera and not always do like some kind of character or bit. So that was really challenging. And then it was challenging because I wanted to bring all of myself to the show. I wanted everyone to know that I had a wife and that I'm biracial, and I just wanted like all these things because I wasn't playing a character. So I'm like, okay, let's give it all. But then I struggled because I was like, okay, I need to have some kind of privacy because I also got some like creepy dads who would watch the show with the kids and like message me creepy things. So I was like, okay,
oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm struggling with how private and how open I should be.
Right.
So I decided to be really open via social media. And so I always posting things for Pride and National Coming Out Day and stuff. And I was really nervous the first time I posted something because I had all these followers whose kids watched me and they were like my little fans, and they still follow me, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And but I was so nervous, like my first time I posted something for Pride and just being like, I wonder if so many people are gonna be like, screw you, like my kid looks up to you. And I did get a couple people that were like, I was so disappointed.
Right.
And lost them as a viewer, but like, who cares? But most people were like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, keep like being yourself, telling these stories. I love that my kid watches a biracial lesbian on preschool television. I was like, yes. So, but it really, I was like really nervous to hit that post button because I'm like, this is the first time that it's going super public because now I have this little fan base.
Well, a lot of people have to come out over and over again. So do you think that moment you were coming out in your career, do you feel like that was that moment?
Yeah, I do. That's you're so right of like coming out over and over again. Yeah. It's not just that one time, then you're like, that's a wrap. It's like it's just over and over and over and over. And I don't know how it's like for you, but I still, depending on who it is in the situation, get those like nervous butterflies. Like, here we go. I'm about to drop a bomb on you. I'm a lesbian. It's like, I'm surprised that I still have a little bit of that like anxiety of like, how's this person going to react? Because I wish I could just be like, I don't care.
Right.
Come at me. But I'm like,
Shan is like that.
I have that anxiety, and if you can't look at me and tell, come on. I wear a suit and tie. Come on.
That does not mean that you're gay,
No,
but it is a more masculine, I guess, type trait. So yes.
Just from my walk. Of course, my
from
voice.
my walk.
Shit.
I got that. That swag.
You got swag. They're like suit, tie, swagger walk. Okay. Equals. It's like ding, ding, ding.
No, I get that anxiety as well. And I think I look pretty, if you want to say gay. So sometimes I'm afraid to talk to my clients about my significant other, or just talk about my life in general. So I have that anxiety as well. So I think I don't care what spectrum you are on the LGBT level,
like where you are.
You're gonna have that anxiety because of how most of society view us. So yeah, but we're talking about coming out. So my favorite part of the show, okay?
She getting ready.
So I would love to hear your coming out story. Me personally, I love to know, like, what age did you say I'm gay? Like you knew you were gay.
And I would love to also know, like, is lesbian your preferred term, or how deep into the terms are you? Because some people are like super, super deep and some people are not. Like for me, I don't care. You could call me whatever you want, but I would love to know.
I'm not deep into the terms either. I don't ever think of myself really as anything. Like I never think like, here I am walking down the street, just a little lesbian. Here I am. I'm a gay woman. What's up? Like I just never enters my brain until someone asks, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a lesbian. I'm gay. I don't know. Like I'm not, but I know some people, they have a different journey, and it's
really important.
So important. And so I totally respect and appreciate that. But for me, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm gay, and that's all I got.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I came out in college, and it was expected, but also unexpected, because I was so good at pushing those feelings out, and so good at just going along with everyone else, and pretending to be straight. And I didn't do the ease in of being like, I think I'm bisexual. I was like, I'm asexual. That's for sure. Like, I don't want anybody ever.
I can relate.
Yeah, just being like, no, I'm good. No, nobody, just nobody. And then I had my share of crushes in college, like so many crushes, and then on females. And my best friend and roommate at the time, David, he was out in high school, so he was way ahead of me as far as finding himself and coming out and all that. But he was out of town. It was Christmas break, and he went home, and I went to college like 10 minutes from my parents' house, so there was no going home. I just stayed in our apartment. I'm by myself, and I don't even remember what I was thinking about to get me there mentally, but it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I said it out loud. I was like, I'm gay. And I actually started crying. It got really emotional. And then I was like, oh my God. And it was like everything fell into place and made sense. Like I could see all these moments in my life just clicking, like my brain was exploding, and I was by myself, and I was just pacing in my living room like, I'm gay. Like, yes, like yes, okay, wow. And I felt so much better instantly. I felt so light. Like it was such a physical reaction for me. I got the chills. I was just like, hell yes. Well,
you embraced it and everything, all in.
I was just like, whoa. And then I had a beer, and I was like, I'll celebrate by myself. No one's here. So I was just like, wow, okay. And I told I told David, I told all my like closest college friends, and they had a little like coming out party for me. And I was like, this is amazing. Life is great. And then I was like, you know what? I will need to let my family know. So now, you know, I knew like shit was going to hit the fan. So I am not good at lying. And so my mom had asked me a few times before I came out, just would like throw it away, would just be like, what is up with that? Like, are you gay? And I would just be like, Mom, but I would never say no.
I know.
I can't lie. I would just be like, Mom, what are we doing for dinner? Like, just like move on, you know? But I was telling my friend Aaron, I have such a vivid memory of this because he knows my mom very well and she can be intense. And I was like, I gotta tell her. I was just at her house and she asked me again, like she knows. I just need to tell her. And he was like, please don't. I'm so scared. She gonna do something crazy. And I was like, I gotta tell her. I'm gonna do it. And he's like, please don't. I don't. I was like, I gotta do it. I was like, I'm doing it now. And he was there, poor Aaron. But I think I needed a friend to be there. And I did it. And I called her. It did not go well. She was like extremely upset. Most of my relatives were like, not cool. Yeah. Not okay. I had people tell me like, this is it. You probably won't have a relationship with your parents anymore, your siblings. Like, this is just the price you pay for coming out. This is how it is. And so I started to believe that, like, shit, like I don't regret coming out, but I never imagined that I would move on with my out self without my family and some friends. I say friends because we're not friends anymore, but at the time I was like, oh wow, I'm surprised that person is not cool with this. Eventually, I mean, it took some time. I got married. I came out in 2005 and I got married in 2011. And it took from 2005 to 2011 for a lot of my family to take it seriously and to realize it didn't mean all of these bad things. Like, they had such a narrow view and small mind about what being a homosexual was. And I think it took for my parents to actually come to our wedding, which was a very traditional wedding. Like, we both wore dresses. And not like that's traditional, but it was just what you expect in like a traditional wedding ceremony of walking down the aisle to music, your vows, like all of that. And there were so many people there who were there to love and support us. I think for my parents to see all this love and support and zero judgment, and to see we were serious about committing our lives to each other, I think they were like, oh, wow. It did something to them, because after our wedding,
humans who really truly love each other.
Yes, there's no like secret reason that we're doing this. Like, I felt, I don't know, it was weird. I'm like, I don't know. So after the wedding, things really changed for the better. Yeah, like now.
That's what I was going to ask you is like, so they really weren't on board even.
No.
At the wedding, they showed up, but they still
even at the wedding, they were like,
yeah.
And I remember, because Kelly and I lived together in New York most of the time that I lived in New York, and my mom would call and she would like never ask about her. She wouldn't say her name. She would say your friend. But even saying your friend, she was uncomfortable saying that. Yeah. Like if she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, Kelly and I are at the grocery store. She'd be like, okay, I'll let you go and hang up. Like, she was uncomfortable with her, even when they were in two different states, just knowing she was like in the background.
Wow.
Now she calls Kelly and Kelly will be like, I've been talking to her for an hour. And I'm like, Kelly, you have to go. Be strong. Like, now, you know, it's I would have never, ever imagined that.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's so awesome. I'm still in shock sometimes when I see.
Well, I mean, I think that this is what the type of change that society is seeing, that it's literally, I mean, it's reasonable, but unreasonable, right? It literally takes years of consistency. And that's with business, with personal, everything. Consistency is the key. It takes years of consistency and and just showing your truth in order to start to change other people's minds. That's exactly where we are right now. I mean, if you look at the Black Lives Matter movement, looking at Trans Lives Matter, LGBTQ community, we're still not where we need to be, but we are another step closer because we're not letting up, right?
Yeah.
Things are just not letting up. And so it takes that, even in our personal lives sometimes, unfortunately, to be able to change other people's minds, like just to kind of rid people of their deep-rooted awful thinking. I don't even know how else to put it. Just the deep-rooted I don't know, like.
And I battle with that because for me, I'm still not 100% out. And when I say out, that means I've never had the conversation with my aunt who raised me.
Which we always talk about is, do you need to? Do you owe it to anyone?
Yeah.
Which you don't necessarily need to unless that's important to you. So
unless she finds this podcast, because it is on Facebook now and I didn't block anybody. So if she comes across
I think we said this last episode too, like Shan got voted, well, we both did, but Shan got voted gayest and greatest in Houston for
amazing,
you know, like, and that was on Facebook too, you know. So anyways,
so I think just posting things.
Shan is in denial,
but I get anxiety.
She knows, her family knows. Okay.
I get anxiety though. After I posted it, like I wanted to call and talk to her. Then I was like, what if she asked? You know, so I waited a couple of days before I called her and she didn't ask. So I was just like, okay, I love you. Bye.
She knows. She knows.
It's crazy because I'm 34 years old and I'm still battling that, you know? So yeah.
Well, I don't think that there's a timeline either.
No, yeah.
People don't come out until they're 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
At all.
And I think I'm okay with not ever having to come out. If she asks, we talk about it. If not, that's fine. But it's kind of like,
so if we get married, you're not going to invite her to the wedding?
So I know eventually that's something's going to have to, you know, give. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she knows.
I know. My mom knows. My mom loves her. So I mean, she asked about her before she asked about me. So it's kind of like, dang, mom. But,
right?
Yeah, my mom, she's okay with it. It's just my aunt is a big part of my heart. So it's that fear of, because she didn't give up on me when everybody else did. So that fear of like, I know she's going to love me regardless, right? But it's still that fear in my heart, in the back of my mind, like, but what if she doesn't?
I think you're scared for possibly your relationship with her to change.
This show is supported by the Empower Team, your queer real estate professionals. Based in the Houston, Texas area, we can help you buy, sell, lease, or invest in Houston real estate. If you're not in the Houston area but want to start or add affordable rental properties to your portfolio, we'd love to help. And if you're looking for homes in your own area, we can still help you find an LGBTQ plus friendly real estate agent, a service we provide for free. Please reach out to us at homes@empowerteamtx.com. That's HOMES at EMPOWERTEAMTX.com.
I was like that with my grandmother. Like she's like my person, and it's my mom's mom, and my mom told me when I came out to her, she's like, this will kill your grandmother. Like you can never tell her. And I was like, agreed. Like I cannot. And I was really sad about it because I called my grandma almost every day, like in college. If my grandma called me and I was drunk at a theater cast party, I would answer the phone like, what's up, grandma? Like she's my person. Yeah. And so I had that same fear and anxiety, and I never had to tell her because my mom eventually did, probably 2 days after. She's like, you can never let her know. Like she told her like right away. And my grandma, I went to her house and I was so scared. It was like the first time I was seeing her since like being out. And she had this like big talk with me, and she's super religious. That was her hold up. And I think still kind of is, but she had the whole talk with me of just like nothing changes. Like this is not affect our relationship. And like I needed to hear her say that because I was so scared. I couldn't even like look at her in the eye when I was there. I was like this. Yeah.
Definitely.
So I get it. Yeah, I understand the fear and
But if
anxiety.
you're listening, do what your heart tell you to do. Don't listen to me, okay?
Don't listen to anyone on this podcast. Don't listen to yourself.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So back to Kelly. How did y'all meet?
Yes.
What was the story there?
So Kelly started a theater company in Covington, Kentucky. So where I grew up in Covington, Kentucky, it's right on the other side of Cincinnati, Ohio. So if I slip and say Cincinnati, no, it's all like one big place. Right, Kentucky, Cincinnati. So she started a theater company there with a friend of hers, and it was my last year of college, and everyone was auditioning for this new theater company that was in town. And they're like, "Oh, and they pay. It's a step above community theater." I was like, "Let's go!" So I auditioned for their first season, and I got cast.
Wow.
And she was a producer and music director of the first like couple shows I did. She at the time was crushing on this dude. She never ever in her life ever thought that she was gay. Like, was never attracted
That was
to
me.
a woman. Really?
That was me. Yes. It wasn't.
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't until I was like 21, 22, something around there that I was like, wait, whoa. What is going on here?
Wow.
Yeah. So I have a daughter. She's 9. I had her with her dad. And that was a long time ago. But yeah, that was 9 years ago. But it wasn't until after that relationship where I was just like, wait, whoa. I'm religious. Like, I'm Christian.
Wow.
Why am I having feelings for a girl? And the girl, she was not hitting on me. She was not like doing nothing for me to like lead me on or anything. I just genuinely started having feelings for her. And I was just like, oh, shut up. We're friends. Stop. And it's just like out of nowhere. And like you said, when you're sitting in your college, your apartment, and you start like clicking together, I still have those moments where I'm like, whoa, back in elementary school, I had a crush on my teacher, and I used to have dreams about her. That's so weird.
So many teachers. Oh, what about the substitutes? Sometimes I'd be like, ooh, so-and-so's out sick. Who's the sub going to be? And like most of the time it'd be like some retired 70-year-old. Yeah, and I'm like, nah, man. But every now and then, yes, sub!
So I never put those together until those moments. I remember going to a friend at the time. I was working at Microsoft, and at some of these tech companies, and it was retail, but at a lot of these tech companies, what's nice is that a lot of them bring together all these different types of people, which really expose you to being able to relate to some other people that you actually vibe with, right? So for example, for you, Kaitlin, you found that in New York. You're like, whoa, these are my people. Like,
yep, exactly.
Yeah. So when I started working for some of these other companies, it was like a whole new world. I was like, wait, wow, this is crazy. Because I never really thought much about it. I talk about it a lot. My best friend, she's gay, and she lives in California now, but we grew up together. We've known each other since elementary school. And when we were like 16, she told me she had a crush on a girl. And I was like, no, you don't. We're Christian. You better stop. Like, you better stop. You're ridiculous. Get that out of your head. Like, that was me and her. And I was super judgmental.
Yeah.
And I wound up getting a girlfriend first.
Right?
Anyways.
You never know.
I always knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always knew, but I also always knew like it wasn't right. Like I remember saying to my mom that I like saying in maybe kindergarten, first grade, oh, I really like this little girl. And my mom saying, oh, you mean you want to be like her?
Like trying to
correct
your train of thinking.
Yeah, like, oh, like you want to like dress like her, like you want to play basketball like her, whatever it was. She's like, oh, you want
to like, no, I want to kiss her.
I'm like, no, I want to be with her. But I remember my mom saying, like, correcting me, like, no, you mean you want to be like her? I'm like, no, I don't.
So basically you turned Kelly out.
You know, I suppose I have that power, but it's so funny because like you two are so similar, because there also was not like any serious flirting or anything. Like she was so shy and introverted, and I was like the crazy girl in rehearsal, was just like, wow, like cracking jokes, and she was like, she's funny.
Well, we'll have to tell our story when we're not on camera.
Okay, please, I can't wait. So she had the same thing of just like, she was telling her two friends, and they're two gay men. She was like, why do I want to make out with Caitlyn Becker? And they're like, yeah, me too, girl, get it. And she was like, but isn't that weird that I have this feeling? And they were like, no, if you're attracted to her, you're attracted to her. But she was like, this is weird. I've never. And she didn't even have any times in high school or college where she's like, well, I did kiss a girl once. Like nothing.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same exact story.
Yeah.
Like I went to my friend and she was like, Shenice, like, it's okay. Like,
yeah,
you can love whoever you want. And I'm just like she had to like coach me through that. It was like I couldn't believe I could not get within my system to.
I just think she was in denial.
Well, I could be. I mean, and I was going to ask Caitlin, like, why do you think that, you know, in your adult life, like you tried to suppress those feelings so much? Like, why do you think you did that? Is it because of your like religious upbringing? Because I feel like that's a part of it for me, you know?
Definitely religious part. Yep. And I think growing up in a small town, it just naturally creates a lot of judgmental people. Yeah. And I felt like I was always hyper aware of what people thought about me. And I never wanted to be like made fun of. Like there's so much judgment there that, we're now, even when I go back, I go back a lot to visit my family. And even like interactions I have in like grocery stores and stuff with people I went to high school with, or like old teachers I had, it's still, I'm like, ooh, this place feeling yucky. Like, you know, like if someone like whips at you and they give you the up and down, they're like, how are you? And you're like, why did you just scam me? Like so I think it was environment, like not feeling safe and supported. Yeah. And I had one teacher in high school who I still have a close relationship with. And she really, I think she knew before I did. And that's where I was getting my emotional support from. Like I would go to her and be like, yo, these kids are making fun of me because I said I'm obsessed with the Rosie O'Donnell show. And then they said that means I'm a lesbian, but like, I'm not a lesbian. And like, they need to back down. And she would just be like, girl, you know, like she's so new, you know, but she was like my support system. And I think if I would have had that, you know, with friends and family and more spread out, that I would have come out a lot sooner. And then also the religious thing too, of just like growing up in the church and being really involved in the church. Like it scared me because I'm a Christian. I still believe in God. And so that was like my own struggle of like, am I just like, I was taught, oh, if you are going to live this life, be a gay woman, then you are knowingly like living in sin. So I was like, oh my God, I am like, I really like was believing it too. I was like, this is not good. So I guess I'm going to hell. Oh, this sucks. But like, I don't want to be with a guy and I don't want to be alone. And I like this person. I was just like, whew, girl.
Struggle. Well, you see, last year, Shan and I, Shan was going to a church for what, 8-9 years? Yeah, she was going to a church here, 8-9 years.
In Texas?
Yeah, in Texas, in the Houston area. And I'd always gone to church, and I moved from the south side of town up to the north side of town. And so she was going to this church, and I went with her a few times. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this church. Love it. Great. And we were pretty much just getting more in touch with just ourselves and what we want to do. And we know we want to serve the greater good and to do God's work. And so we're like, let's commit to getting more involved. Let's serve. We need to serve.
Don't tell me they didn't let you serve.
Oh.
Here we go. Here we
Here
go.
we go. Let's go on for the ride.
I just don't even like talking about it because I feel some type of way about it.
Yeah,
But
it is. But that's why, we get redirected to where we need to be, which we still have not found a home church, but we've been to plenty of churches in the Houston area that are open, affirming, a whole nine, which is really great because a lot of people, they get booted out of a church or they have a negative experience and then they don't ever seek it out again. But
Right.
I want us to find our home church, but I want us to take our time doing it. Like I say, just like I have a whole pet peeve with the medical industry. So I tell people, shop for your doctor. If you don't vibe well, if you don't sit well with your doctor, that does not mean that you have to stay there. Find the right doctor for you. Same thing goes with how you shop for a TV, shop for a church. Okay. So we haven't.
Yeah.
We just need to visit more, and with COVID, we haven't been able to go to a place we've liked a few times. But anyways, back to the story. So back to the story is we were serving. We got involved with Celebrate Recovery, which was for people with hurts, habits, and hangups. So you could be your
addicted to drugs.
You could be
codependency.
Addicted to drugs, anger issues, codependency issues. It could be anything. Just helping you work through that. And then we got involved with the children's ministry, which they were recruiting hard for. And so I got involved and I was like, oh my gosh, Shan, it's with these middle school kids. They're so amazing. And Shan used to be a teacher, right? 8-9 years teaching. And she loved it too. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is so great. Well, the youth pastor or minister, he called us in, him and his wife.
Oh, wait till you hear about the wife.
Okay.
No, I already know the wife. I know the wife.
The wife used to be a lesbian. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And him and his wife called us in and basically said,
is he gay? Do you think? Oh, okay.
I don't know. So, it is.
Just saying.
Honestly,
all right, moving on.
Honestly, I think he had a thing for Shenice, to be honest.
Shan.
Really?
Shan thinks everybody has a thing for me. So for some
No. It's just how it's just like when his wife would come around, he just seemed irritated with his wife.
We don't need to remind people that we're a couple. Move on, lady.
yeah.
I can see it. Okay.
So I don't think that's the case.
He even baptized Shenice.
Oh, he did baptize me. I'm sure he doesn't remember that he did, but he did baptize me. And anyways, point blank period. He brought us in to say basically, are you practicing a lesbian lifestyle? Right?
Practicing? You're like, we don't need to practice. We're good.
And then he said lifestyle.
Yes, lifestyle. And basically told us that a lesbian lifestyle is just like, is basically like being an alcoholic, and they can't allow us to serve with children if we are practicing a lesbian lifestyle. That's what we were told. So I was just like, you just pretty much kind of made us out to be like pedophiles, basically.
Right. You can't be with children.
We can't be with the children. So we could probably go be with the Celebrate Recovery group, but we can't serve with the children.
And it was no problem until I came, because Shenice had been doing this for a couple of weeks.
Like we were talking about in the beginning, right? You have a look, right? And also I think his wife has had multiple conversations with you about, you don't have to be this way.
Stop.
I'll tell you that story off because it is long, and I know for time's sake, it's just, she pulled me. I was walking out of church and she was just like, can I talk to you? And I'm just like,
this was years ago, before this
I
incident.
thought she was just another stud.
Are people comfortable enough to be like, you know what? I'm going to tell her something. I'm going to tell her myself. Like, how is she that comfortable to be like, let me pull you aside? Oh, Lord.
Yeah, she was like, I used to be in the drugs and the alcohol, and I looked at her.
She made it seem like that's the that's the lesbian lifestyle, the drugs, the girls, I
was like, that's not my life.
What? This is the problem, because like a lot of churches say like we're open to all, to all, but you cannot serve unless you follow this, and this. Exactly. And it's like, that is literally the opposite of how Jesus Christ was walking around and living his life.
Exactly.
So don't get me started on that.
Exactly.
I'm happy to say that we found a church 2 years ago, an Episcopal church, which I had never been. I grew up Baptist, so it's like way,
I think that's a common thing with those type of churches.
Yeah.
Yes,
affirming.
definitely.
Oh my
They're a little
gosh.
bit more open, definitely.
Tot-
Yeah.
Our pastor Juan has a husband. What's his husband's name? Juan. Juan. But it's awesome because I grew up in like small country Baptist church, like lots of old people, but then also like lots of kids, like the feel I'm talking about.
Did you ever have the sermon where, because I grew up in a small town Black Baptist church, and you go to church, it felt like I was sitting on
wait, it
poles.
cut out. Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Wait, hold on. Okay, now you're back.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
You're back.
I'm from
Can
a
you hear
small
me?
town.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm from a small town as well. Black Baptist, small church. Did they ever have sermons where they talked about homosexuality and how he was going to burn in hell?
Oh, no, because let me correct you here. I went to a small white Baptist church where that was not even brought up because it was too like, we're not even going to go there. We're not even going to go there. And everything is very, so there was no, why don't we respond to the preacher? We're not vocal. It was like quiet, like keep your hands down. So yes, often when I say Baptist and Southern, people are like, I feel you. I'm like, hold on, but white. So like, you don't move. And they don't talk about anything that could like ruffle feathers. So it was just like keeping up with appearances. But this church that we go to now, I love it because it's like so diverse. They do an English service and they do a Spanish speaking service. And there's like people of all ages and backgrounds. And like, I just love it. And I'm so happy that we found it. And my wife really wanted, she's a piano player and really wanted to be involved in the music at a church. And that was the problem we were having is any church that we found, they were like, come on in, gay, straight, whatever. And then they're like, wait, but you can't be involved. This is the first church that they were like, oh, we don't care. Like, come on in. Our son got baptized there.
Oh, that's awesome.
He plays the piano there. Like, it's like really, really thankful.
Everything.
But
That's amazing.
it's
That's amazing.
I'm just it still hurt my feelings sometimes because I really, really cut for that church. Like like the pastor would speak to me. I felt like I know them on a personal level, and the fact that I had to go through that, I just still
It's
like,
awful.
sometimes it just replays in my head, and I'm just in disbelief, like that's how.
So after that talk, were you like, did you peace out? Were you like, well, that's a wrap on this church?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
definitely. We were done. We
Yeah.
were absolutely done. And that's when we actually, again, talking about environment, we reached out to, there's Room at Our Table, which is an organization we're involved with up in the Woodlands area. It was started by someone who used to be Mormon, and she is an ally. And basically there's Room at Our Table is basically to have allies host dinners to invite the LGBTQ community in.
That's
and
cool.
It's really nice. Yeah. And so we've gotten involved with them, and they're pretty, I think, they're growing. And of course, COVID doesn't really allow for a lot of dinners or activities and stuff like that. But we reached out, they have a Facebook page, and we were just like sharing our experience and saying like, is there a church out there? And that's where we got a flood of recommendations.
Nice.
In the Houston area. And we've just been church hopping ever since.
It's just I gotta have that movement, like
but I don't know if we're gonna necessarily find that. I think we're envisioning churches like we're used to, right?
Yeah.
Which there's a big chain of them, like the non-denominational. Not that that's what I grew up in, but my adult life I've pretty much spent in those non-denominational churches that have that certain flow, and but it's just very different. So I just think we need to go with the energy, like who's pulling us, and we'll make a decision from there, because we just need to go a few times, you know?
And you'll know.
Exactly. So the last thing I want to talk about before we get to our wrap-up questions is your son. I'd love to know more about you and Kelly.
I wish he would bust in like
right,
but he's at the playground, but I wish he would just bust through and be like, yes, thank you for having me. Yes, Everett Everett Francis. He will be 3 in 2 weeks, and I had him. I carried him. He's my biological son, even though he has bright red hair and blue eyes and super pale skin. He did grow in my uterus. But yeah, so
was it Kelly's egg or
no, my egg.
Okay, your egg, everything.
Your egg, everything. And we well, the short version is I ended up doing 10 rounds of IUI, and then after the 10th moved on to IVF, and he was conceived through IVF. So he was with the 3rd sperm donor, because like your church hopping, I was just sperm hopping, honestly. My doctor was like, like switch it up. It could be the egg sperm combo. So I was like, moving on to the next guy.
So how do you find your sperm donor? Like, how does that whole process work? I have no visibility into that world. I have no idea.
I did not either until we got into it. I was really afraid of IVF because I was so naive. I thought, IVF is when people have like 10 babies at once because they take all this medication and they're usually like 50 years old. And then they're like, I have 6 babies. And I was like, IVF. Like, I really just had like no idea like what it was. But, what was the question? Sperm donor. So, I really wanted the baby to be able to relate to Kelly on some kind of what you call like ethnic background.
Yeah.
So I'm like, come on, we gotta find boy Kelly.
Yeah.
And she was like, that's nice of you, but she was really more into, like clean bill of health, because you can see everything now. We chose to not look at any pictures. You can also hear their voice, like when they're interviewed. Like now it's like a 6-month process to donate sperm. Like back in like the 80s, you could just go in, give your sperm, get cash and leave. Now it's like such a process. I feel better about it because I feel like these dudes are doing it for a good and right reason. So
you looked at no pictures. I feel like we're such a vain. I feel like we're such a vain world.
I would have to look at a
where,
picture. I'm sorry.
0 pictures. So the first thing we looked at all the medical stuff, because you can see their parents, siblings, grandparents, great grandparents, all their like medical background and mental as well, just everything. So first we we were filtering by like this person has 0 cancer history or whatever, clean bill of health. Then we went to like Kelly's mom's side is Italian and her dad's side is Irish and German. So I looked for like that match too. And there's actually so many. And then I was like, okay, now we have to choose. So I'm going to go based off these interview questions. And I was so picky. And she was like, but like this person seems perfect. And I'm like, but they're like overly obsessed with cats. It's like, she's like, who cares? I'm like, it's too much. Like, it's too much. There's something about his cat answers that are really, I don't like it. Moving on. And she's like, oh my gosh. So I was like really picky, but that's how we settled on our top 3.
And so you've never even seen a picture of the person that.
Never.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that makes it good. So if you ever saw him on the street, you would never.
Right. And Everett, and I know my brain too. I was like, his face would be sketched onto my brain my entire life. I just know it. I know I'd be thinking about that face when I was pregnant, when I was pushing that. I just know my brain. So I was like, I can't. Kelly did see a baby picture by accident after I was pregnant, she went back because we were like, wait, is this guy 6'1"? Like we were like having a height, like I forget how tall he is. And she went back and they had like refreshed the profiles because before you had to pay extra to see all these pictures, and now they have it, you don't have to pay extra, it just is there. So she looked up and she was like, his face, I saw his baby face. But she already like forgot what it looks like.
Oh like, yeah, I feel like a lot of babies look alike. So,
but me, I'm like, it would be right here. So that's how we chose, and I always wanted to be pregnant, always. And Kelly always wanted to be a mom, but never wanted to carry. Like
Oh,
she
that's
always thought, I'll
amazing.
probably marry a man, like I'll have a husband and we'll adopt, is what she
Oh,
thought her life was
wow.
gonna look like. And here we are.
Wow, that's awesome. You know, I always
Yeah.
say that family, I mean, a lot of the times chosen family is a lot better than the blood family you have. So
Yeah.
I don't think that people need to be blood in order to be considered parent, child, family, not family, whatever the case may be. So I think that's amazing. And I mean, Kelly had already in her head she was going to adopt anyways. So
Yeah, she already was like, I'm never getting
Not gonna put
pregnant.
that
Yeah, so it's cool because people see us and they're like, but he looks like both of you.
yeah,
You know, like they're like, it looks like you two made this baby. And I'm like, that's so funny.
that's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say? Have y'all gotten any resistance or anything weird happening because you're two moms with your child?
For sure. And again, you know,
Did you
just
do a
throwing.
video on that?
Yep. Oh yeah.
You did,
Oh yeah.
you did.
Literally anytime there's an awkward moment or like anything, I'm like, I'm gonna turn this into a sketch. So I get a lot of like, are you his nanny? And a lot of is your husband a redhead? I get that all the time. Is your husband a redhead?
Wow.
So I'm like, first of all, for the people who just come up and they're like, your husband, redhead, I'm like, you just assumed so much.
Right.
One, you assumed I'm this kid's mother, which I am, but you know, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You assumed I'm his mother. You assumed I'm married and have a husband. And you assumed that like the two of us, my red-haired husband and I, made this child. Like you just made up this entire life story for me.
Right.
And I don't even know who you are. Like you just walked up and was like, your husband, redhead. I'm like, what are you talking about?
We walk up and say, "Is that your son?"
Yeah.
Oh, he's so cute.
Yeah.
You can do.
Where does he get that red hair? I've never seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
start
like,
off like you don't know me. Like
it's so
do a conversation if you want to know.
yeah. So now sometimes I'm so ready for my answers that like an innocent person will be like, oh my gosh, I love it, because he gets a lot of comments about his hair.
Yeah.
I haven't seen like that hair color in so long. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much. No, he didn't get it from me. I did carry him though. My wife and I'd say too much, and they're just like, okay, I love his hair, and like walk away, and I'm like, like, why did I need to tell them all that?
You're,
So society has scarred you, basically.
you're interracial, right? You're,
Yeah,
Biracial.
I mean,
yeah. I'm half black, half white, and my wife is white. And
So, your parent that is white, did they have red hair?
it's on, so because it has to come from both sides. And I was like, where's the red hair come from my side? And my mom is blonde. Well, I guess more like brown. What is the real color?
Brunette?
You know, I don't know. Sure.
I don't know.
You know, she be rocking the blonde highlights. I get confused. But
Or dirty blonde. don't they-
yeah, dirty blonde. Her on her father's side, there's red hair
Okay.
and blue eyes, actually.
Hmm.
But it is really funny because I really thought I was gonna have my like little mini me. I was like, oh, he's probably gonna have like curly brown hair and dark eyes. And then
Kelly.
I was like, who are you? Yeah, I was like, oh my God, look at him. I was like, how? Genes are so weird.
These
Like,
are
you just-
super weird.
You
Yeah,
never know. So
that's so
yeah.
cute. But those questions are ridiculous. I just like the fact that we live in a society, we are just always making assumptions and
Always.
don't
And
think.
I do it too.
Yeah, we all do it to some, but I don't feel like I would walk up to somebody and assume that you're their nanny, you know, or even let me assume it in my head and then I'll inch my way towards confirming or denying that idea. Like I just
Because it also could just be so many things. Like
yeah.
I could be his aunt, I could be a sister. Like there's so many things.
Yeah,
So
and it's also too, we're all mixed we're all mixed. So
yeah.
see, I have a cousin that they're both, black, but they had a blonde hair and blue-eyed baby. I mean, it happened. So
Yeah.
it's just so crazy that people
We're just locked
think
into
there,
some
yeah.
type of some mentality sometimes, and we just
Yeah.
anyway.
And it's usually from like older people,
Mm.
but every now
No,
and
they're
then I'll get-
fearless. They'll ask you anything.
There's no filter.
Not at all.
So I'm just like, here. I'm like, she's coming over. This grandma's coming over. Here, okay. I'm like, get ready. I have a wife. She's like, I was just letting you know you dropped your wallet.
Okay. All right.
Alrighty, so let's get to the wrap-up questions because we've been talking for almost 2 hours now.
Oh my God, sorry. I'll talk.
No, it's not a problem.
I feel like it's us, not you.
No problem. All right, so question number 1. What would you say is your best money habit?
Money habit? Well, honestly, I'm good at not spending money on things I already have. For example, I am really strict when it comes to like groceries, and I really like to cook. So if my wife's like, oh, do you want to go out for dinner? I'm the one that's like, why would we spend money when I have all this food? She's like, there's nothing to eat. I'm like, is this not food? Is this not food? And I like refuse to spend money on groceries or go out until I have like cooked everything in the kitchen. Like I don't like to over anything. I don't like to have a lot of stuff. I don't like to overbuy, and
Well, that's good. I mean, I feel like during COVID, we've overbought on a lot of things just to like stock up because everybody is in this big frenzy to stock up on things. But she's like the person that will like clear everything out. But she's also the person that goes to the store and brings back like 20 bottles of a soda she likes. And I'm just, why?
Oh my God.
Why?
The Mexican sodas?
Yeah.
So good.
I think it's like Doritos or something.
Oh yeah,
Like
Doritos. They got the tangerine, or is it
the mandarin. It's like mandarin, tamarind, lime. They
are really good.
So I'm not supposed to be having those things. I'm type 1. Yeah. But I have an insulin pump, so I can,
whatever.
Okay, you know what? That's for another episode.
Exactly. Kaitlin, where do you find your motivation?
I find my motivation a lot of places. I don't know, why do I feel like this is timed? I'm like, oh my God. Okay, I find my motivation literally in everything. Like I like podcasts, television shows, movies, taking a walk. Like really, I don't have one answer from like everything. Everett's a big one because on the days where I'm like, I'm depressed because of this pandemic and life, and I just want to hang in bed and binge watch something and eat chips. But I'm like, oh yeah, Everett, like I literally can't. Like I have to take care of another child. So I'm like, it's kind of nice to have that kind of motivation. Like you have to take care of this person.
Yes.
And
yeah, that's awesome.
Alrighty. What advice would you give to someone in the LGBTQ plus community that would like to advance in their career or level up in their business?
Be yourself and educate yourself. Practice standing up for yourself. And if a boss or someone is like, I don't like you because of your sexual preference or you're practicing a lesbian lifestyle, then get out.
Yeah.
You don't need to be there anyway. So just keep staying true to yourself no matter the consequence, I think, or outcome.
I like that.
Yeah. Alrighty. Do you have a favorite book or podcast? Well, you say you watch TV a lot. Is there a favorite show you have? Anything like
right
that?
now I'm watching Pen15.
What is it?
Pen15. Have you guys watched this?
Oh, PEN?
PEN15. Remember when, like in middle school, when people would write that and it would look like penis? Do you remember like PEN15? They like write it on desk and you'd be like, oh my God, it looks like penis. Do you guys didn't do that? Wow. It is hilarious. These two female comedians are playing their middle school selves. So it's a little triggering because it's middle school and it takes place in 2000. So you should wait. You said you're 34.
Mm-hmm. She's
how old are you?
28.
Okay, so you check it out. But I feel like 34 is
Might
like
relate
a
more.
sweet spot. Yeah, but just like the clothes and the
Yeah,
soundtrack.
I was a freshman in high school.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
What is it on?
it's on Hulu.
Hulu. Love it. Okay.
Yes,
Have you watched
I'm watching that.
Claws?
No,
Oh my God. You
I
haven't?
don't know how I haven't.
Well, we watched it because Niecy Nash came out, and then we're like, okay,
I love Niecy Nash anyway. Like,
I know, and I'm
so
like,
funny.
okay, this whole Claus thing came out. I think we should watch it in honor of her coming out, and we
Yeah.
did, and it was
It is awesome.
addicting. I mean, we were.
We binge watched the whole.
Oh my
everything,
gosh,
yeah.
it was crazy, and it had I don't watch anything like scary or suspense.
I don't either.
But not that this is really
She's
like scary.
abusive when she watched those things.
My anxiety is like on a 15. Well, in Claws, it's not like it was scary or anything. They're just sometimes there was just some gruesome scenes with some killing because it's kind of like, it's a nail shop and they're involved in like this drug ring type thing.
Oh, I would love this though. Do you watch Ozark?
Oh my gosh, yes.
I love Ozark, but also the scenes where I'm just like, like, why? We don't need to see that. I don't need to see that toenail rip off.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I'm gonna
Yes,
ask
that's
her
me.
this for the record.
Okay.
Did you watch Bird Box?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yes, my life was taken from me in Bird Box. Okay, she made me watch it, and it was so scary.
She was grabbing me, squeezing.
No, I can't watch it.
I can't do it. I cannot.
Ozark is the limit. Like if we go past like suspicion, okay, I'm down with. But like, I'm telling you, things stay on my brain forever.
So you would never like star in a scary movie or anything like that.
Maybe
for money? Is that what you're gonna say?
Never say. I was gonna say never say never because I've thought about this. Like, I wonder if being on set and seeing everything,
like the process,
if it would not be as scary, like when you're like in it, seeing these things. But I still think I would be really scared. Like, I'm such a scaredy cat.
I'm such a scaredy cat. Yeah, definitely. Can't do it.
Yeah, I
Can't
agree.
do it. Okay. Ooh. Oh, one more question to ask you if you watch. Have you watched Woke on Hulu?
No.
Woke. You have to watch Woke. It's
I will.
Very much
anything anyone tells me to watch, I'm like, I will.
Watch Woke.
I can see her
what
like
is
starring
his
in
name?
Woke.
Do you know the black guy from New Girl? Have you ever watched New Girl?
No, wait. But I don't have any interest in watching New Girl.
Okay.
Is my instinct correct, or should I watch it?
I used to watch it when I was like really, really bored, but I usually binge watch like The Office now. So anyway,
yes,
I love
huge Office fan, love it.
I can see her being an actress in Woke.
Oh yeah, definitely. So Woke is this black guy that basically doesn't see racial injustice. Like, he's a black guy, but he's been
so successful, no issues.
Despite all the problems in the world, he's never been faced with anything that's like that would make him feel offended or not like he's included or whatever the case may be. So he was kind of blind to it until he has an incident where a police knocks him to the ground thinking he's another black guy. And then from there, he kind of spirals. He has a whole mental breakdown, and it's a comedy, and kind of an animated comedy where
interesting.
It's super, super interesting. It's good. It's only one season. It just came out I think a month or two ago. And it was really good. Gives you some insight because there are a lot of people out there. Myself, I was included in that, where I was just like, well, I don't really feel like I've ever had a racial, encounter where somebody hates me because I'm black or didn't do something. So it was just really, really, really good show for the times that we're in. And it's called Woke. Watch
okay.
It,
I watch things slower now because of Everett. I'm like, fine, we'll watch PBS. But when you nap, I'm gonna watch something real good.
I love it. Okay.
Alrighty, last question. What do you like to do in your spare time?
Okay, so watch TV. I love being alone. And so when I can get alone time to recharge is the best. And I'm a walker. Like, that's where I figure everything out in my life is on my walks. Yeah. So I like to walk. And then when I'm not feeling like a loner and we are allowed to socialize, I'm a foodie. Like, give me the best meal ever with a really nice cocktail. Like, I just want to relax with a good meal and drink and good combo.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Love it. All right, Kaitlin, please tell our audience how they can get in touch with you, how they can follow you.
Honestly, they were probably like, we're tired of her. She's talked for 4 hours. But for anyone who wants more, you can find me at CaitlinBecker.com is my actor website. And you can find me on everything. Caitlyn Becker on Facebook, Caitlyn Bex, BEX on Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, I'm on everything. Try to keep everyone updated on what's going on.
Awesome.
Alrighty, Caitlin, we would definitely like to thank you for, being on our show. We really, really enjoyed your conversation. You are hilarious, by the way.
So hilarious.
And
As are you. Thank you so much. This has been a pleasure.
we're looking to see you flourish, and we know good things are coming for you.
Can't wait to hear about next
Thank you.
stuff.
Yes.
So I'm so glad.
Good
there's so
energy
much.
going your way.
Yeah.
Thanks. Back at you. Back at both of you. It's so nice to meet you.
Yes. Bye, Caitlin.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share the video to your friends. In the comment section down below, write how good the video was. And if you're listening to the podcast, make sure to hit a 5-star review. Bye.